Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another spoiler special podcast. In this episode, we're going to be going deep into spoilers for Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. So if you haven't seen that movie, do not watch this unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case, by all means, watch this. I'm joined again by Emily Licksthebowl of Final Girls Glasgow and Layna Frankenstein. Guys, thanks very much for joining us. Let's get straight into it. Ready or Not 2, the sequel to Ready or Not. What was your guys' memory of the first movie? Did you see it when it first came out? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I think I must have done when it first came out and just loved it. I thought it was such a fun idea. I don't think I realised it was going to be a comedy going into it. I'm pretty sure the trailer was pretty quiet on that, but I had a great time with it. I thought it was brilliant.
Really?
I saw it, I think, in 2021, so a couple of years after it was released, and I was aware of its kind of reputation of being like maybe a little bit funny. But I actually rewatched it yesterday, and I watched number 2 last Friday. So looking back in terms of comparison now, the first one is quite serious for like, I don't know, at least the first half of the film, it takes
Yeah.
itself very, very
Yeah.
seriously. You don't notice that it is a comedy until
Yep.
action starts to progress. But yeah.
Did either of you see it in the cinema?
No.
I have no memory of seeing
Yeah.
it. I think I must have done, but I don't remember seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it in the cinema like yourself, Emily. I think it was a year or two after. I mentioned this in my review. It was a mate of mine had recommended 2 movies, one being Ready or Not, and the other one being The Hunt, which is not a million miles away
Yeah,
from
I
it.
like The
Both,
Hunt as well,
both,
yeah.
both good movies. But yeah, so it was a digital rental for both of them one night that I watched them on. So it was a couple of years after. I had no memory of that movie being in the cinema, but I did do a quick Google, and evidently it did get a cinema release in the UK. But I can't imagine it might not have been a wide release, and even if it was, it might have came and gone within a couple of weeks. I really think, at least in the UK, I think that movie, you know, video rentals are no longer a thing, but you know how like movies used to gather like a bit of word of mouth and kind of
Yeah.
like become popular after the fact when they were on video and DVD. I think that's whatever the modern version of that is, like whether it was on streaming or whether it was just people watching it, on downloads. I think that's when that gained popularity. But I had no memory of it being in the cinema. So when I did eventually watch it, like yourself, a year or two after, I was quite shocked at how good it was, because I was like, why isn't this movie a bigger deal? Like, no one was talking about it other than my one friend. No one was talking about it.
I think it's about like the circumstances around that time
True.
made
Yeah, that's true.
movie going complex. But also like I feel like 2019 was like a different time entirely. Like when that was released, I think like a bunch of stuff, it was just a bit of a crazy time. And I think a lot of people were not getting to the movies at that point,
Yeah.
So,
So we have a sequel to it now. 7 years later, 'cause 2019.
Yeah.
So 7 years later, the sequel comes out. When you first heard they were making a sequel to this, was it just when the trailer came out, or did you guys know the sequel was coming?
Oh, I can't remember where. I think it must have been on social media. Potentially the
Yeah.
trailer, or maybe just before that there was rumours about it.
Was anyone surprised that they'd made a sequel to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very much a well-rounded off movie. It left fine. It did not call for a sequel, but I'm also not mad that they made a sequel.
Yeah. So the story of the second one, spoilers for the first movie as well. Our hero, Grace, played by Samara Weaving, survives the deadly game of hide and seek in the first movie, and in the second one, she's dragged back into another deadly game of hide and seek, but this time with her sister. Let's talk about the story of part 2 and the new characters that are introduced. Story, first of all. I love sequels that pick up directly after
Yes,
the
me
first
too.
movie. It's always something that I'm like, right, instantly you've got a couple of points in my book when you do that. Classics like Rocky, the Karate Kid, John Wick. More on the John Wick comparisons later, but I really like sequels that pick up straight where you left off. What's your guys' thoughts on that? And were you expecting that to be the case?
I'd hoped that it was going to be the case. So as soon as the film started rolling, I was very happy. The fact that we got somewhat of a little recap and then you're just right back into it. Yeah, I thought it was a perfect start to the sequel.
Yeah. Emily?
I think that I'd read about it maybe. So I think that I knew a little bit about what was coming. But also I was just like, I probably only heard about it about a month ago, but like I had just read the cast list and was like,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what they do, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Like I'm not concerned. This
Yeah,
will
I will
slap.
be seated.
Yeah, yeah. It is a pretty stacked cast list. We'll go through them. Not every single one, but obviously we've got Catherine Newton as Faith, as Grace's younger sister. Fairly famous. I think the thing I know her mostly from would be Ant-Man Quantumania, but we won't hold that against her. And Freaky, which was brilliant as well. So a bit of a genre darling, shall we say?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did you guys know her from? Anything else?
Oh, I've based my entire
Yeah.
personality off
Of
of
course, Lisa.
Lisa Frankenstein.
I've still not seen that.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, it's so good. And Abigail, she was great in
I've seen,
that.
oh, that's right, Abigail. Yes, I have seen that. That was good. That was good.
Yeah,
That was good.
so I'm a
yeah.
big fan of Catherine. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was great to see her in this.
Emily.
I've seen Lisa Frankenstein. I haven't seen Freaky. I actually bought it on DVD like last week, and it is on my like high end of my watch list, but I haven't gotten there yet. So literally, my touchstone for that is Lisa Frankenstein. But that is like so like such a perfect film for me.
Yes.
People kind of like are a little bit mean about
Yeah,
Lisa Frankenstein, and I'm like, I don't know what you watched because I thought that
It's
was
perfect.
delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only heard good things about Lisa
Good.
Frankenstein.
You've got good friends.
But yeah, that's it's on my watch list as well. Emily, just let's delve deep into your psyche. Then you said it's near the top of your watch list. What else is on your at the top of your watch list right now?
So I'm going through some like horror homework. So like stuff that I haven't seen. That
Is this
I
for
should
Final
have
Girls? Did they give you homework?
seen. No, they're pretty low key. But it's more just about like I don't want to miss out in terms of conversations. I want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about because I keep getting invited on podcasts. So like I've never seen all of The Exorcist, and I've never seen
The Exorcist.
Okay, apparently it's very good.
I have heard.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant you've not seen all of the Exorcist's movies, but you mean you've not seen the original.
I've seen some clips of the original, but
Yeah.
I've never seen the
Oh.
whole thing.
No, I have not.
I've never seen The Wicker Man.
Me either.
And yeah, just like I
I
have
don't feel too bad about having not seen Lisa Frankenstein because
No.
I've seen them.
yeah. So there's some gaps in my knowledge. So I'm working through my horror homework at the moment.
It'll be interesting to get your thoughts on both those movies because they're both great movies, but they're not scary movies. I don't want to spoil anything about them, but that's The Wicker Man is obviously got the Scottish connection, and the accent is made fun of quite a lot sometimes.
Ah, right, okay.
But yeah, The Exorcist I think it's a great movie, but even at a young age, I remember watching that when I was far too young to watch it, but I don't ever remember being scared by it.
Okay.
I just remember thinking, oh, this is good. But it wasn't like A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Hellraiser, like those were horrors. Whereas The Exorcist, I mean, probably, but again, by design, it's not the same type of horror. I just never really put it in the same classification or the same genre as movies like them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, so we'll come back to you on that when you've seen when you've watched The Exorcist. Okay, so back to Ready or Not 2. Catherine Newton as Grace. She is drawn into another deadly game of hide and seek. But before we get on to the other cast members, I want to talk about the opening 10 minutes or so of this movie because other than starting off where the first movie ends, I really enjoyed the opening of this. Samara Weaving's character Grace is taken to hospital, as you would. And one of the things I loved about this, and I don't know if any other horror movies or any other movies sequels have done this, but if any kind of like generic slasher type story, at the end of it, you've got your final girl or final guy or final people, and they survive and they go off into the sunset, as it were. Obviously, if that happened in real life, if you were the only survivor of a massacre in a cabin in the woods, the police would be like, yeah, you're under arrest.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened in this. And I racked my brain and I could not think of any other movies that had done something similar. And I thought that was a really unique and quite, fun element to the story. And I was like, I am totally here for this.
I think that like the introduction was really clever. I think that I actually made a note about like Samara Weaving explaining to her sister like what had happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's exactly what you would say. You
Yeah.
would be like, okay, so, and then this guy, and you just like, I
Very
think,
matter of factly.
yeah. And I thought that they really sat down and thought about what is the most sort of real way that we can present this. And it was just perfect in terms of exposition. Like if you hadn't seen the first one, it made it so really like clear. So yeah, and of course you would absolutely get nicked. Why? Of course you would.
Yeah.
Like you were the only person surviving and the house is burned down. Like, you know, you'll be taken in for questioning at a minimum.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, absolutely. And I thought that was altogether really clever and funny.
Yeah, because I think she is. Layna, you remember this because you saw it like yesterday. Is she handcuffed to the bed?
She is,
So she's definitely
she wakes up and she's a bit like
she is under arrest. Then I would imagine
Yeah.
if she's handcuffed to the bed.
Yeah.
In the hospital. So again, I just thought that was like, oh yeah, that's of
Of
course,
course,
like
yeah.
of course that's in the real world. You know, there's a bloodbath. There's no bodies. You're covered in the blood of people.
everyone.
Yep, you're under arrest. I thought that was really clever. But before she can be charged with anything, or before there can be a trial, she is taken from the hospital. But before we get to that, there's a cameo in the hospital that I wasn't expecting, and that's one of the bugbears I had with this movie. So the big chap, Kevin Durant, is the guy who attacks him in the hospital. He's a face that you might recognise from a few movies. I know the name Kevin Durant. I can't remember why I know that name, but he was in. My first memory of him is in a movie called The Butterfly Effect. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
I'm aware
Where
of it.
it's just questionable because he's playing a Mexican guy in that, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's problematic. But that's the first thing I remember seeing him in. But he's probably, at least for me and my kids, he's most famous for playing Blob in the X-Men Wolverine movie from like 2010. But he's a relatively known face.
Yeah.
I think. So when I saw him there, I thought, oh, brilliant. I didn't know he was in this. He's going to be a character in this. But before I could get too excited about that,
He broke the rules.
He broke the rules, and
So
he is
He
exploded.
had to explode.
He did. Did you guys recognise him as an actor, and did you have the same response to that, or was he not a face or a name that you were aware of?
The name is like really vaguely familiar, but like I was not like I was waiting for the next couple of people to get to arrive on the scene. So yeah, he's less someone that I know, but I just get so excited when they explode. It's so good. It just gets better and better every time.
It does. I recognise his face, but I could not place him.
Yeah.
So I would just sort of assume that I'd missed him on the casting and that he was going to be a part of this, but
Right.
evidently not.
I wonder if they kept his name out of the publicity because it's a glorified cameo. I mean, not even glorified. It's a literal cameo. Speaking of cameos, let's go straight on to the next one. Then we've got David Cronenberg.
Mm-hmm.
That came out of left field. Like I think he was listed, but I
he
didn't know ahead of time. So when I saw him again, I was like, oh. But then before, as soon as I saw him, I was like, hang on. They fooled me with Kevin Durant. I'm not going to get too excited. So David Cronenberg plays the dad of the. Oh, does anyone remember the name of the family?
No, I can just remember the Domazes, but that's the other ones, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the first one, I think. So
It
David
also starts with a D, though, I
Is it a D
think,
again?
but I can't remember.
No, it's gone.
the dad. No. So David Cronenberg plays the patriarch of this new family and has two children. Are they twins in the movie? No, they're not twins. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Shawn Hatosy, I think. As Titus and Ursula.
Yes.
Brilliant, I remember those names. So they are introduced as the new sadistic, satanic family that is playing this game of hide and seek with our two heroes. Seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar back on the big screen, especially given what's just the news that's just, but it's probably too soon to get into that. We won't get into that. But to see Sarah Michelle Gellar back on the big screen in a role like this, I think was a delight for everyone, and I think that was a huge, huge get for the filmmakers to bring her in. And Shawn Hatosy as well. He's not. I don't think he's as known as Sarah Michelle Gellar, obviously, but he's. I think he's been a steadily working actor for decades. I think if I remember rightly, he was in The Faculty.
Yes, he was. With Elijah Wood.
1999 with Elijah Wood.
Oh, of course.
Which was, I think, was in 98 or 99 or something. It was a long time ago. And then the most recently, I saw him again when I did a rewatch of Dexter. Don't know if you guys have ever watched Dexter.
Couldn't get into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
I feel like I would have enjoyed it, but it did pass me by, unfortunately. But
It is worth a watch. The last couple of seasons are a bit shit, to be honest. But the first 3 or 4 seasons are amazing. Anyway, so he plays one of the bad. It's not a spoiler, is it? Anyway, spoilers for Dexter season 5. Shawn Hatosy is one of the kind of serial killers. Serial killers. He's one of the serial killers that our serial killer kills.
Wow.
In Dexter. Spoilers, sorry. But yeah, it was great to see him as well. I have thoughts on some of his scenes and some of his character motivations that we'll get to later. I think everyone probably has similar thoughts. But yeah, seeing those two characters, the expanding world with the family, I loved that.
Yeah.
Like the whole, I call it the John Wickifying of the story, like expanding the lore, but keeping it relatively, not vague, but not over explanatory, not too heavy on the exposition. Like to go back to, I think, what you guys were talking about in the hospital scene where Grace is recapping the events of the first movie to Faith. You're like, that's a really clever and not too condescending way to recap the first movie for people who maybe haven't seen it. Because I imagine there's a chunk of the audience going to see the second one who maybe hadn't seen the first one, because this one definitely, probably a bigger budget, but definitely a bigger marketing budget, because this one absolutely got a cinema release, like worldwide, you know?
Mm-hmm.
horror is having a moment though as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it's definitely, it's zeitgeisty right now. And I think that people are returning to the cinema specifically to see horror in a way that we haven't for 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that it's going to get a push in the same way that like the 2019 release never could have, because it just wasn't happening then. But yeah, I think exposition wise, like it was so smart and straightforward and perfect. I thought it was really clever. I liked it a lot.
I really appreciated that, because something that just, it always annoys me when you're just like, it's, here's, it's the old Austin Powers joke, here's Basil exposition to come and talk. That might be a joke that no one over the age of 40, under the age of 40 gets. But so yeah, back to Sarah Michelle Gellar and Shawn Hatosy, the brother and sister, the new bad guys of the movie. What did we think of their character dynamics in that first scene? Because again, spoiler special, they euthanize their dad at his request to help kickstart some of the plot and some of the in-universe rules and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen Promising Young Woman?
No. I actually haven't.
Oh my God.
That has been literally on my Amazon watch list for so long that it came in like the rights Amazon, like because like streamers only have it for like 2 years or something like that. It was on my watch list for 2 years, and now I would have to pay for it to watch it. So
Spoiler for that. So sorry in
That's
advance,
okay.
right? So somebody is strangled or like suffocated to death in that film. Right. And I won't say who, because anyone who's watching will know what I'm talking about. But one of the most sort of dark and horrific moments in cinema is this strangulation / suffocation, because it lasts for 3 full minutes.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Which is the amount of time that it would actually take for you to kill somebody in that method. And I cannot
why
now.
do you know that?
Because I looked it up after watching Promising Young Woman. I am not a serial killer. But yeah. So I can't ever watch somebody get suffocated or strangled now without thinking it would take 3 minutes. Like it's over in like 10 seconds. But actually, if you think about it, like the horror of it and the awkwardness of it, I'm never not thinking about Promising Young Woman now basically at all. So yeah, absolutely. Please watch that. And then think about suffocation and strangulation in a completely different way for the rest of your life. But yeah, I thought it was, I think like it sets you up for, this is going to be more aggressive in terms of people being like violent and like cynical and what have you. And I thought that was fun too. And I like to see David Cronenberg. It's always nice.
Yeah. He seems to be more prolific as a cameo actor these
he
days
loves
than a filmmaker.
He's like,
did he pop up? Am I making my? He was like he had a bit part in one of the Star Trek shows, didn't he? In Star Trek Discovery, I think.
He's been in almost as many films in cameo parts as he has directed. Because I looked it up on IMDb. So he loves to just like do a little moonlight, just like here and there. So yeah.
Something that I really liked about that scene as well, and it goes back to them, not being overly expositional, and in fact, this is them being completely under expositionally. There's the whole thing of him watching the news and the riots and the war zones and whatnot, and he makes a phone call and says like like stop the
Ceasefire.
stop the ceasefire. That's never picked up on again. It's never elaborated on. It's never mentioned again. It's just he's that powerful. He starts and stops wars with a phone call, and just goes about his day, and they don't. It's not that's not even a plot thread that they pick up on again, I don't think.
A character talks about it later, just in terms of think about all the good you could do if you were going
they run
to,
the world,
to take it
essentially.
over. If you marry whoever or whatever, and you play the system here, then you can be in charge and you can do good things.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're right. There is like no further mention of it. It's just people's greed and power is really the main theme throughout, for sure.
So Sarah Michelle Gellar and Shawn Hatosy, Ursula and Titus, kill their dad. And to go back to just to touch on something you said there about how long it takes to suffocate someone.
Sorry.
I'm kind of glad that you've said that, because it does vindicate something that I have long thought in my head. Anytime I have seen something like that, now again, I'm not a serial killer either, but I have thought I could hold my breath for that length of time and then just pretend that I'm dead.
think that every single time.
And anytime someone holds someone under in a sink or in a bath, I'm just like, I could hold my breath for that long, and then play dead. Yeah. So I'm glad to know that that's at least mathematically possible.
I feel the same about when people are being punched repeatedly as well. It's fun when there's lots of punching, but also it's just you could kill someone probably with 2 punches, right?
Yeah.
And I think about that every time. There is a scene later on where Catherine Newton gets the absolute beaten out of her, and I'm just like, she's not getting up from that.
No.
Yeah, that's a big topic of discussion for when we get to that. Yeah. But she's too again. It's not like he's Shawn Hatosy, a massive guy. He's an averagely, maybe slightly athletically built guy. Catherine Newton is an average-sized woman. If he knows how to punch and lands them right, and throws her on the ground and the head hits the ground, you could die from that quite
absolutely.
easily.
Yeah. And she's just standing up at the end, nothing's happened.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, we'll get to that. So we're then introduced to not only the Sarah Michelle Gellar and Shawn Hatosy character and their family, but we're introduced to 4 or 5 other families, and quick story recap on what's happening here. Basically, because because Grace, Samara Weaving's character, because she has won the game of hide and seek, that's triggered this new this new clause in this satanic contract type thing that they have, where the seat of power is now up for grabs. So all of these new families, the head of each household, has to take part in this hunt. And for plot reasons, they've just thrown in Catherine Newton as well to make it fun and to have them give banter. Elijah Wood turns up as a lawyer, a satanic lawyer, for lack of a better phrase. Not that, there's many jokes to make about that, about lawyers and being satanic or not, but we won't go there. But something that I loved as well about that, and I never really picked up on it until I heard someone talking about it after the fact, The Ring.
Yes.
And Elijah Wood. That was completely lost on me during the entire movie. And I was
me too, actually.
How did I miss that? Was that? Do you think that was a really on the nose in joke, and that we just missed it?
Yeah, I think as soon as you said that, I was like, of course. But the entire movie, that did not cross my mind at all. I was just having so much fun with everything else. But yeah, I think they know what they're doing with that. Yeah,
and speaking of having fun, I think of late, or at least, maybe not of late, but for the past decade or more, he just seems to be picking roles based on what he thinks will be fun.
Oh, definitely.
He got his Lord of the Rings money, and now he's just going to be a weird little guy.
He's probably set for
I
life.
love it. It's I've watched a bunch of his weird projects since, and I'm just every time I'm
just happy to see him.
What are some of the highlights?
We watched Come to Daddy the other week. I don't know.
I don't think I know that one.
Okay, so I think it came out 2 or 3 years ago, and his character in it is based on Skrillex, who is
right.
DJ, right? So he's got a really big,
so far so weird,
really big silly hat and a moustache and nail polish, and he has been written to by his father, who he's estranged from. He hasn't seen since he was a child, to come and invited him to come and see him and reconcile, and then he gets there and everything is very off. And I won't say anything else about it except that it's another weird little freaky movie. And yeah, well worth your time. The guy, I can never remember his name, but the guy from A Field in England, I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
Yeah, the director or
The main creepy guy. Smiley?
Michael Smiley?
Yeah. Just like anytime Michael Smiley's in anything, you know it's going to be bad, right? Like he's so terrifying, and he is in that.
Right.
So you know exactly what kind of movie it is, basically.
Interesting.
So,
Did you guys see the new Toxic Avenger?
no, but I'm waiting. I didn't even realize it had been released yet.
Yeah. So there was a weird like rights thing with it, or a marketing, or like a studio holding on to it. But like they shot it years ago, but it only came out last year. It played at Edinburgh Film Festival last year. That's where I saw it first. But it's out on disc. It's on DVD and Blu-ray now. So,
Oh my God!
It's and therefore I'm assuming like on it as a digital rental. It's not amazing, but it's okay. But he's playing probably the creepiest, weirdest character he's played that I can think of. Ever?
I feel like he should always get like billing, and then it's a warning, like
Yes.
you know, like Michael Smiley is in this, and it's gonna fuck you up. Like, okay.
Yeah, but I think Elijah in this, he seems to be just like, he's not chewing the scenery, but he just seems to be like having so much fun.
Yeah.
Something that I loved, and this is kind of like skipping forward a little bit, but it was almost like a tiny recurring joke that he would like hide behind something anytime someone was about to explode, because he was like, because he knows what's about to happen, so he just kind of like, he hides behind like a waitress at one point. I think he hides behind the podium at one point. I thought that was hilarious. And then, like I said, you know, before we got off on this Elijah Wood tangent, the ring joke. I was like, how did I not pick up on that? But anyway, so our two heroes, Faith and Grace, are coerced into playing another game of hide and seek. Basically, Grace is forced to do it, because if she doesn't, they'll kill Grace. That's how they get kind of around the whole plot point of like, well, why would she do it again? And then there's the head, or the head of each of these kind of like powerful satanic cult families make up the hunters of this. I can't remember everyone's name in this. I did try to write them down, but that's never going to happen. Nestor Carbonell is one. He was the mayor in the Dark Knight movies, so I remember him from them.
Right, okay.
He was also in Lost, I'm sure, for a couple of seasons. I think a lot of people will remember him from Lost. Yeah. He's the guy who you're like, why are you wearing eyeliner? But he's not. His eyes are just that deep and that colourful, you know. So yeah, each one of these heads of the house makes up the hunters, and the game begins. Something that I thought about this movie compared to the first one, and I might be misremembering the first one because I didn't actually do a rewatch. I watched it when a year or two after it first came out. Was this one more violent?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you guys you watched the first one again just
I watched it
yesterday.
Yeah.
So from your most recent memories, then, like, this one's more violent, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it's over the top in a way that the first one is more realistic and more serious.
Yeah.
Like in the first one, like Grace gets shot in the hand, and so she has like a bullet wound in her hand, and that's like one of the most sort of graphic bits. And there's a bit where she like puts her hand on top of a nail. She's trying to climb out of a thing in a stable. But that's like they're the most kind of visceral moments from the first one, and then the second one is like, right, let's go. Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
we may as well just, we're talking about the violence, and let's skip forward to that ultra violent scene, because I think that's like, I've got that in my note towards the end here, but we're just talking about the ultra violence. So there's a scene that's in the last third of the movie. It's probably like in that kind of like crossover period between Act 2 and Act 3, where Shawn Hatosy's character beats the ever-loving crap out of Catherine Newton. Yeah. Like, very severely. That felt like a bit of a tonal misstep for me. Like, it felt like it belonged in a different movie. It reminded me of, you guys seen True Romance?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's one of my top 10 movies. It's Tony Scott directed, but it's a Quentin Tarantino script.
All right, okay.
James Gandolfini is the character in this specific scene, and he beats the ever-loving crap out of Patricia Arquette, who's one of the main characters, or one of the two main characters in that movie. But yeah, it's very brutal, but tonally it fits for that movie. I just felt for this movie, I was like, ooh, this is taking a bit of a darker turn.
Yeah, but then it sort of felt like that was the turning point for Titus as well, and that was sort of where he broke.
Yeah, no,
And
I
then-
get
so
that. Yeah.
Or it was the point at which it was really revealed that actually he's a monster.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't evident before that actually
yeah. I thought he was going to be this whole dumb. Like,
yeah, I thought, you think
character.
about that like opening scene where he's just telling everyone to get the fuck out of the hotel and it's like, oh, this is silly and he's
Yeah.
kind of silly and he's going to lose his temper or whatever, but
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really a threat. And then once he punches the fuck out of Catherine Newton, you're like,
Oh, shit. Yeah.
oh, actually, I don't know where he was going and I'm
Yeah.
I'm definitely afraid now. And then obviously further massive spoiler is when he murders Sarah Michelle Gellar and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you suck.
Yeah.
And like if the audience didn't already hate you,
Yeah,
you're
that's it,
done
yeah.
now, you're toast. You know? So like I think that it was like a character arc that I maybe didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, okay, the shift is now into he is real bad. So and that sort of made sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah, I get for the character and make it and kind of portraying him as like, oh yeah, he is actually the threat because the whole time, like you said, he's portrayed as kind of like almost a bit like a goof.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, like you, the whole time you think, well, Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's supposed to be the head of this family.
Yeah.
Oh no, they are twins because that's why they both can fight, is it not?
I thought one of them was older.
I
I
don't
thought
know.
she was like the older sister. I don't know.
I'm totally getting myself on a tangent here, but because let us know in the comments if we're wrong about that. But I think they were twins, and that's why they can both
fight at
Have,
the
like,
same
the
fight
one
at
time.
the
seat,
same
yeah.
time.
Because
Right.
otherwise it's whoever is like
Otherwise, it's whoever's the oldest,
Yeah.
whoever's the head of the household.
Yeah, that
Right.
would make sense
Yeah,
then.
but regardless of whether they're just brother and sister or twins as well, their dynamic up till that point, I think you're led to believe that Sarah Michelle Gellar's character Ursula is, the badass and the kind of the leader of their family. But then, as you said, she's murdered by by Titus.
I think she is the brains of the operation, like without
Yeah.
question, but he is just more cutthroat. Like, I
Yeah.
think that she has a certain amount of sympathy within her character, which
Yeah.
is essential because it's Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like, I think, yeah, it would be interesting if she was just absolutely cold, but she can't be.
No.
Because she's
Yes.
ours, like she's Buffy and she
Yes.
can't be truly evil,
Yeah.
Speaking of the Buffy, again, something that I never noticed until someone mentioned it after the fact, and I was like, how did I miss that reference as well? When she puts the stake through.
Yes.
like,
I did pick
through
up on that one.
I was like, I totally didn't. It wasn't until, I don't know, I think it was maybe the Empire podcast or their interview with them, they were talking about that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I totally missed that reference as well.
They had to do like a really deep dive into weapons to find things that Sarah Michelle Gellar had not already used.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she's
Oh.
basically used everything at one point or another because Buffy was on for a long time.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Including a bazooka. I remember the bazooka episode.
Yeah, but I think there
Gotcha.
was some kind of rocket launcher or something they used in this one. It was like one
Yeah.
of the only things that she hasn't previously used. So, yeah.
From a story point of view then, was it fair to say that none of us saw that coming, that Titus was going to kill Ursula?
No.
Yeah.
No, I thought she was going to prevail. Like, I just,
Yeah, I expected to see both of them at the end.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I expected her to be. I remember thinking, okay, I know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
It's going to be the two sisters. It's going to be Faith and Grace
Yep.
versus Titus and
Yes.
Ursula, and they're going to, and something will happen, and they'll both explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I was quite confident. I
Yeah, I
knew
was
that's
quite
how it was gonna
cocky as
end.
well.
Yeah, I was quite cocky, but and then it didn't. Now, again, you guys saw it much more recently than I did. If I remember rightly, there's a good like 20 to 30 minutes of the movie left after
Yeah, there is
Sarah
a good
Michelle
bit.
Gellar's
Yeah.
character dies.
Mm.
Do we think that was a misstep? Maybe killing her off with a third of the movie to go.
I mean, I'm always going to say, yeah, I love seeing her on the screen. So I wanted her there till the end. But
Okay, so let's imagine it's a different actress though. Just the character.
Kill her off.
Kill her off. So your love for Sarah Michelle Gellar
Yeah,
is,
yeah, I
is
just
trump-
wanna
is
see
trumping
her.
everything. Right.
yeah, I felt like it was good for the character of Titus to have that shift moment,
Yeah.
kill her, and then it's all for him. But yeah, I just wanted to see it at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was very clever from like it's like a manipulative thing to do to the audience because
Yeah.
like everyone is going to be really upset about that. And
Yeah.
so I think that is the reason that they did it, not because they really wanted to get rid of Sarah Michelle or whatever. Just like that was like,
Got you.
yeah.
I wonder if the news about Buffy, if that had broken a month or two before, would they have done reshoots? just to not kill her.
I still think someone else is going to pick up
Oh,
Buffy.
yeah, yeah, it's got to be.
There's money to be made.
Yeah, there's something about that just seems fishy. Like,
Yeah.
There's an element to that they're just not telling us. Like, I mean, it can't be like the latest news I heard about that. Again, not to go on a tangent, but let's go on a Buffy tangent. So, welcome to the cancelled Buffy spoiler podcast. There's something that they're not telling us because, like, the latest news is that, like, the studio weren't happy with the story, that Buffy was hardly in it, that the tone was all off. But I'm like, well, surely that was all in the script before you said, okay, go make this.
Yeah.
They slagged off the director as well.
Oh, did they? I didn't hear
She's
that.
won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, oh, she's under directing or something like that. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, I agree. There is something fishy going on.
There is something fishy going on. Okay, back to Ready or Not. Let's rewind because we jumped ahead. The dynamic between Catherine Newton and Samara Weaving, I think, is the main driving force of what makes this movie enjoyable.
Yeah.
The banter that they had, their chemistry was brilliant. And it's a shame, not a shame, because, you know, she's pregnant. It's wonderful. Congratulations. But, like, they're not on the press tour together.
Yeah.
And I think, that's the fact the fans are missing out on that. I know she's doing some Zoom calls and whatnot, but it's just it's not the same. I can just the amount of fun that, like, I think Elijah Wood and Catherine Newton are having on the press tour. Imagine how much more fun they would have if Samara Weaving was there as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
I thought their dynamic was pitch perfect.
Yeah. I think that it feels evident that they enjoy one another's company, and I feel like that absolutely translates. But also, like, I heard that, like, they're both, like, such good friends with Sarah Michelle Gellar now as well. Like, they're all buddies.
I bet.
Yeah.
I would watch a million movies of just the three of them. Like,
Yeah.
you can make any sort of movie and put them in it, and I will be watching.
And they could have cameoed in Buffy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
How awesome would that have been?
Yeah.
But, you know, again, we can't get too sidetracked on that. Let's talk about our filmmaking duo, the directors known as Radio Silence. I'm going to try and get this guy's name right. Matt Bettinelli-Olpin, apologies if that's wrong, and Tyler Gillett. Pretty confident in that one. So they made the first one. They made Abigail. They also made Scream 5 and Scream 6.
Oh,
Did they
okay.
make it? Well, I feel like they were executive producers.
Oh, I thought they were the directors.
I don't know now.
Oh.
I could be wrong. Yeah,
I'm almost... Did they?
I don't know.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, so but
Sorry.
they were definitely involved in the making of those movies.
Absolutely.
So I'm wondering, had the Scream 7 issues not happened and they were busy making Scream 7, would we never have got this movie?
What I read is that they were initially looking at a vehicle for Catherine Newton, and it was going to be like a side, like an alongside story that was somehow attached to the first film, but not what has ended up happening.
Okay.
I heard as well that Melissa Barrera was going to be in it, and in the end, the Bonnie Tyler fight scene girl, it ends up being the character, that actress. I don't know who that is, but it was
right,
going to be
okay.
Melissa Barrera.
Oh, I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, I think if the problems hadn't happened with Scream 7, then maybe we would have been watching something very different in the
Yeah.
last week. But I'm kind of glad that it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think those guys have definitely got a handle on riding that fine line of tone between comedy and horror. I think in the hands of someone else, a different director or a different directing duo, not necessarily saying we would have had a bad movie, but I don't think we would have had that movie. I think the tone that they struck with the first movie and with this, the comedy and the horror, you know, I think they definitely nailed the tone. One thing that I did want to bring up, and we talked about it briefly earlier on, expanding the lore. I kind of, in my review, I talked about it. It reminded me of what John Wick 2 did. Don't know if you guys have seen the John Wick movies.
I haven't, I know.
But I'm a huge action junkie fan. I'm not a huge junkie. I'm an action junkie. Just make that clear. Not anymore. But yeah, the John Wick 2 starts pretty much where the first one ends.
Right, okay.
But it just expands the lore, but it does it in a kind of like very subtle and not overly explainy way. The exact same way that's done. So I kept thinking, yep, they've John Wickified the Ready or Not universe. However, and I think it was the Empire Film Podcast, or maybe one of the other maybe it was Mark Kermode, one of the big film podcasts, they were getting interviewed, and John Wick was mentioned to them, and they said that's not actually what they had in their mind. They were talking about Terminator 2 and Aliens as being superior sequels.
Okay.
Now, as much as I liked Ready or Not, and as much as I liked Ready or Not 2, and it's good to have goals, but comparing it to Terminator 2 and Aliens in terms of like your goal, in terms of like what you want to achieve, I think you're setting yourself up for failure, because those are two of the best sequels ever made. Emily, I know you've got something you want to bring up now.
So I think that you're right in terms of the expansion of the universe, and I think it worked really well. And I think that it is like Ready or Not, Here I Come is superior to the first film. And I think that, you know, because we're all big Scream fans, I think about like the scene in Scream 2 where Mikey is talking about what sequels are better, are superior. Like, yeah, comparison between The Godfather and The Godfather 2 in terms of the expansion of the universe and its expansion of the storytelling. Personally, I think the first Godfather is better. But in terms of this, I think Ready or Not 2 is like, yeah, I thought it was smarter. I thought it was funnier. I thought it was more incisive in terms of its like eat the rich parable. And I think that was very enjoyable. And I feel like, yeah, okay, maybe you can't compare it to Aliens or whatever, but like we need that right now. We need like those kind of stories where actually the good guy wins and the people on the Epstein list don't. You know, like that's the undercurrent that's coming from that is like, you know, the foster kids win.
Yeah.
You know, it's so like cathartic, I think.
Was there anything that you didn't like about the movie? Because I think so. This was one of the last things I was going to say, but you know, you said that you think it's better than the original. Layna, where do you stand on that?
I think they're pretty much on par for me.
I would say the
can't
same,
really, I can't decide out the two. I think they're pretty much equal for me. I love them both the same. I thought they were both clever. I can't really distinguish which one I preferred.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're on the same level then.
Right. Before we talk about anything that we might change, let's go to the end of the movie and talk about what happens there, because there's a line of dialogue. So story-wise, basically what happens is Samara Weaving's character, through like kind of like a legal loophole, for lack of a better phrase, proposes to the Shawn Hatosy character Titus, and they're going to get married, which would then allow him to get the ring and have the power, not Lord of the Rings. So he would be, he would rule the universe rule the world in a satanic way through marriage. There's a line of dialogue that he says, or someone says, about him when he kills Sarah Michelle Gellar, his sister, saying it's not against the rules to kill family. As soon as he said that, I saw where the ending was coming. And I think I'm in two minds as to whether or not the filmmakers wanted us to know that's where it was going, or whether they wanted it to be a surprise. What do we think about that? Do we think that the filmmakers want us to see that signpost, or were they trying to keep it a secret but failed?
I feel like it was very, very obvious that he was going to bite it. Like as soon as he killed Sarah Michelle Gellar, it's like, you are not surviving this, like without question. But also like, Samara Weaving is going to get you. Like it was very evident, like in terms of the signposting. But I don't know if it was intentional, but it was clear.
I just mean but it's like more specifically like that line of dialogue that she then says back to him. I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, she's going to kill him and say that line back.
Yeah, I knew that line was coming back.
Yeah, so I think that, so it's probably, it probably wasn't meant to be a surprise then, I would say.
No, because it was a very satisfying moment, right?
Yeah.
So, they were giving us a little present.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the goat.
I laughed so hard when the goat was the first person to kneel down. I don't know if anyone picked up on that.
No. I absolutely did.
What?
I absolutely did. Okay. Best supporting actor in a film, musical or comedy goes to that goat. I have never seen anything like it. Oh my God. Okay. So the piece of trivia that I have about this goat,
good, please,
is that wasn't on purpose.
Stop.
That just happened. Right?
Incredible.
That
goat. Because I missed this.
So it's brilliant.
In case our listeners and our viewers also missed it, like me, what are we talking about here?
Okay, so Samara Weaving claims the throne,
Yeah.
right? And then she says, kneel down, right? And the first creature to kneel down is the
It's
goat.
fucking goat.
On his like,
I totally missed
he
that.
does his little like IKEA collapse legs onto the ground, and then everybody else follows the goat. But the goat was just listening to Samara weaving and
That
knelt
is
because
incredible.
she's very commanding, clearly. And I heard the directors talking about it, and they were like, nobody was expecting that to happen.
That's amazing.
And everybody lost their minds.
Yeah.
Which, of course, you would, because, like, what a clever,
Yeah.
obedient goat. But, yeah.
I was, when you messaged me earlier on saying you've got a story about the goat, I was like, oh, I wonder what that's going to be.
That
I was
was
like,
brilliant.
don't Google it, please, let me tell you later.
I can't believe I missed that.
Oh,
I
it was
actually can't
brilliant.
believe I missed it. Yeah. Anytime I see a goat in a movie now, I just think to the Thor Love and Thunder movie, which not the best MCU entry, but I did find the screaming goats in that movie quite hilarious. Was it goats? I'm sure it was goats. Anyway, wow. So the goat just did that
Brilliant.
in response to Samara weaving.
Yeah.
I mean, fair.
Amazing.
They were like, it's the best animal actor that we've ever encountered in our lives. So,
So good.
yeah.
So we're at the end of the movie. Samara Weaving has married Shawn Hatosy. She's then killed him and said his line back to him, very satisfyingly, as
Yes.
you said. She then, if I remember rightly, she throws the ring
Yep.
into the pit while Frodo is standing beside her. And again, I can't believe I missed that reference.
No, me either. I'm so annoyed at myself.
And in the story, whoever's wearing that ring at the stroke of midnight, or whenever the time is,
Dawn or
Dawn,
yeah,
at
whenever
dawn,
we
yeah.
are. Yeah.
Whoever's wearing that ring at dawn will be the head of these households.
Yeah.
Will basically hold the power of the ring, not Lord of the Rings. She throws it in the pit, which is like a pit full of spikes and bones and everything, and then all of these household members, pile into the pit, bludgeon each other. The way they shot that scene really stood out to me in a very cool way. It reminded me of the fight scene in Old Boy. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So there's like a single take corridor fight scene in Old Boy. It's brilliant. It's a great movie, and that's like the standout scene. It wasn't a single take, but just the way they shot that, and it's not a hallway, but it's like a circular pit,
Yeah.
kind of like this table, and the camera just went around in a circle. Wasn't a single take, but just the way they shot that was very over the top and very stylized. And I was like, these guys are kind of flexing some style here. I really quite enjoyed the way they did that. But I have heard some people say that took them out of the movie a little bit.
Okay.
Yes, I was surprised to hear that as well.
I felt like that was such a fun plot point.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me of, I don't know if you guys will know this or not, but Patrick Süskind's Perfume. I don't know if you know that.
Oh.
So they made it into a film, but I haven't seen the film. I only read it as a book. But at the end of that, basically, it's a perfume that everybody is so captivated by that they kind of fall onto each other and have an orgy and then sort of eat each other because the perfume is so powerful. And it's the same kind of thing, just like with
Perfume, right.
Perfume. Patrick Süskind, very good. It's an excellent book. And also, I haven't seen the film, but I feel like that was probably all right too. But yeah, it was the same kind of thing. Like everybody's so hungry for power that they're just clambering all over each other and then going to kill each other and sort of eat each other. Basically,
Yeah.
they're so hungry for it. And I thought that was the thing that I thought about when I watched that bit. And I was like, oh, that's very powerful. I like that.
Yeah.
But it had the way they were jumping in and throwing themselves in so ridiculous. It had that good
Yeah.
balance, and I was like, this is so just ready or not.
No.
Yeah, and then when the bodyguard lady decides
Yeah.
to throw her hat in the ring as well and jumps in, I
Well,
was
why
like,
not?
Yeah, go for it.
So, the movie ends, and so remind me, who's got the ring come dawn?
I don't think
I don't think
anyone.
No one has it.
No,
Yeah,
I
so
don't
no
think
one,
so.
no one gets the
Because
ring. So
Everybody in the pit is dead.
is dead.
Mhm.
And Grace and Faith don't want it.
Yeah. So again, it's like a legal loophole that they can ever get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Wood kind of makes an off the cuff joke about how there's surprisingly little wording and documentation about what to
Yeah.
do in this situation. So he kind of gestures to them, I think, that they're free to go, and then they're free to go, and then we get that little flash of what we're assuming is Satan,
Mr. Bella.
Yes.
Mr. Miller. Was that the same actor that we saw the Flash in the first one? I probably should have read up on the trivia of that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would imagine so, but I have no idea.
What did we think of that specific ending? And did we want to see more of the devil himself? I'll go first because I actually did. I wanted to see a little bit more. Like I think I wanted a wee bit of a line of dialogue.
Okay.
I like, and maybe not in a kind of like, Matrix Reloaded, like overlay explanation architect type way, but just like it's such a blink and you miss it, like literally a blink and you miss it Flash. I thought with the kind of the work that they put in to expand the universe and expand the lore, I was wanting just a little bit more of that as to, so what's going to happen now with the rules of this universe? But it's just a Flash. They kind of like, they've been through so much trauma, they acknowledge it and they just walk away.
I think that if they were going to give Satan dialogue, they would have to make that so perfect. And that is hard. It's easier to have it be vague and just like a little flash or whatever, because it's then the onus is on the audience to kind of imagine what he's like, right? So like I would be like, it's a dicey move. Like it has to be perfect. So, who are you casting and what are they saying?
That's literally what I was going to say. Okay, so let's fan cast that then. Who do we cast as the devil now that he's got this killer line of dialogue?
I cannot remember any single actor
Yes.
ever.
I would actually just love Elijah Wood to just have two
So-
parts in this movie.
That's just reminded me that I actually thought a potential twist was going to be that he was just he was pretending to be, this little lawyer guy, but it's actually just the devil. It's just, saying what's his name, Mr.
Mr. LaBelle.
LaBelle. I was
LaBelle?
saying it the wrong way around because it's like it's like an anagram, right?
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
So I thought at one point I did think, I think that might be the reveal. But yeah, fan casting who would be the devil, my mind is immediately going to Al Pacino, but Devil's Advocate Al Pacino from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Also, you've got Robert De Niro from Angel Heart, but that's from like 40 years ago. So, but I think either of them, I thought that would be like such a fun cameo.
Yeah, it would be a good
if they
cameo.
got like someone who had played Satan in a previous movie to be in it, because as we saw in the start of this movie, they're not shy or coy about having cameos and cameos from known faces.
Yeah.
So I kind of was expecting a bit of a more of a cameo for that role, but it just been a flash and gone. That's like kind of leads me on to kind of one of my last questions and one of the last topics. What would you change about this movie, if anything? And that was my one thing that I would probably want to change, was to see more of the devil and expand that lore a little bit. What about you guys?
I don't know if there is anything off the top of my head that I would change or that I did want to see more of. I guess just more screen time with our three like main girls. Like there was a fair few scenes with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Samara and Catherine, but I just wanted more of that. That's just me.
So I was very fond of the Bonnie Tyler fight scene.
Yes.
Right? I thought that was
Highlight of the
like
movie.
very, very fun. But I wish they hadn't cut away from it. I wish it had just been like, because they cut to like some other like bit of business in between. And I wish that they had just focused on like, I just wanted hardcore 3 minutes of Bonnie Tyler fight scene. I didn't want to be distracted by anything else. But I feel like overall, it's not completely perfect, but like not bad. There is very little that I feel like I came away from it being like, there was like it's hard to critique because it's like it's pretty solid.
Yeah. The Bonnie Tyler fight scene, that's one of my earlier questions that we kind of skipped over because we jumped, to that scene. Favourite scenes, and I think that's definitely
I think that's
the
up
standout
there.
scene. Now that I think about it, was that intercut with the scene of Titus beating the crap
I
out
think
of?
it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that didn't work.
Yeah, because
one
it's
thing
such
at
a
a
total
time.
shift.
Yeah.
One is a comedy fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one is the exact opposite of a comedy fight. But again, maybe that was, I'm sure it was by design to kind of like accentuate the comedy and the horror of each of them. But yeah, the Bonnie Tyler fight scene, I think if that was its own, not even single uninterrupted shot, but even it could be like, if you imagine like Edgar Wright doing his thing with that, like for the whole song, I think that would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
The
But
one part where it did work, though, I did think when it cut back and they were both like facing the opposite way, punching air.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
After
Did
the
think
pepper
that
spray.
worked
Yeah.
perfectly.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
that
a
was
genuine,
brilliant.
Yeah.
a genuine laugh out loud moment. Yeah, that was. I've got that down as like my
Yeah.
favorite scene of the movie.
I think
Absolutely.
Samara Weaving is actually like low key very, very clever with comedy. And I'm interested to see what happens next in her career because I think that she's got that movie coming out with Jason Segel.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, which one's that?
So they're a couple and they're away on a retreat and they're both trying to kill each other basically because they're both unhappy in the
Yeah.
relationship. And I can't remember what it's
No,
called off
me
the top of my
either.
head, but it's out like next month.
I don't think I've even seen a trailer for that.
It does
And
look good fun.
it looks
Yeah.
pretty, it looks pretty funny. But look, it's dark. It's like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it's also I think the only thing that I have seen her in where she has her Australian accent since like I don't know, she was on Home and Away or something a long time ago. But yeah, it's she's Australian in it, and there is jokes about her being Australian in it, and
Right.
Jason Segel just being like hilarious as
Just being
ever.
Jason
So
Segel,
yeah.
Yeah.
So-
There's speaking of Samara Weaving and her previous work and using an Australian accent, I think she used her Australian accent or her native accent in a movie from a year or two ago called Blindsided. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
No, I don't think I have.
haven't seen
So
it.
that's I think I've got a review for that on the channel. If I do, I'll link to that below. It's hard to talk about it without giving away spoilers, but basically she plays an actress, fairly well known famous actress. She's got a stalker who's played by Ray Nicholson,
Oh, okay.
Jack Nicholson's kid.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. I know this movie. I didn't realize
I'm
she
almost
was
sure it's
Australian
either
in that.
Blindside or no wait, that's the Sandra Bullock movie.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive it's called Blindsided.
Okay.
Samara Weaving, Ray Nicholson, and the late Eric Dane, and I think in one of his last movies, and he's really good in it as well. She's an actress. He's a stalker. It's not a horror, but it's like a comedy, psychological thriller. It's very similar in tone to this, and I think again, she's got great comedy chops. Even though that movie, like this one, it's not a comedy, but there's a lot of comedy elements to it. So any Samara Weaving fans, any Ready or Not fans, definitely check out Blindsided. I don't think it got a cinema release here, but it was one of those ones where like the kind of marketing guys like sent out emails to people saying you check out this movie. Do you want to review that for us? It's it's really amazing. So there's that kind of like almost like new section of movies of new market of movies where it's not a massive budget. It doesn't have massively A-list stars. It's not got Tom Cruise. It's it's not getting a cinema release. But like the marketing guys are doing their best to kind of get it out there. And it was one of those ones where I'm so glad I got the email saying, do you want to check this movie out? Because I really enjoyed it. It was really good. Yeah, almost positive it's called Blindsided. And I'm almost positive she has her Australian accent in it. So check it out if you like Samara Weaving and Ready or Not. Yes. I'm going to double check. And if it's not called Blindsided, I'll put the actual title on screen here. But I'm pretty sure it's Blindsided. Yeah, anyway. So, end of the movie. Where do we want the franchise to go next? Because I think this has been well enough received that I think we will see more.
Elijah Wood. More Elijah Wood.
Like a spin-off?
Yeah. Like I would be happy to have like just like a cameo from from the girls and have it be a standalone film about him because he's
Him in
such
that big book.
Yeah.
That's got all like the secrets and all
And
the
his-
clauses.
Yep.
and
so,
his cute devil hat. Like
Yes.
so
Yeah.
actually I meant to say when she is all in the getup,
Absolutely stunning.
flawless.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like the most like she's beautiful all the time,
Yeah.
right? But
You
like
mean in the black?
yeah,
Oh,
when
the
she's
black-
in the black wedding
The
dress.
second wedding dress, not the
Yes.
bloody
Yes.
wedding dress. Right.
No.
I think, yeah.
I mean, we love the bloody wedding
Yes.
dress as well,
And it's-
right?
But, yeah, she just looked
Oh.
absolutely stunning.
Yeah, that's something I totally forgot to talk about as well. the costume, the wedding dress.
Yeah.
One of the reasons where you knew this movie had become a bit of a cult hit, people were cosplaying
Yeah.
as Grace.
There is in the second film, I feel like even more like perfect, like tableaus where you'll be like, right, I'm going to use that as a costume,
Yeah.
like without question.
Yeah,
Like there is
yeah.
more and more like stuff that is very usable. I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, I think it is. This is going to be like a cult thing for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so I think like I would be happy to watch a direct sequel, like Ready or Not 3. Here I
The
come.
scope, without
You can't
question.
hide. So yeah, that's another thing. I mentioned this in my review. The 2 in the title. It's just like it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
However, so I mentioned that in my review, and I think there was a lot of comments agreeing with that. There was one comment actually that someone said that I never even thought about, and they said that's maybe for the non-English language world, because Ready or Not, Here I Come, and this might be wrong, but this is what a commenter on my review said. Ready or Not, Here I Come is a well-known phrase in the English-speaking world. It's not in non-English language.
Right. Okay.
So he or she, in the comment said that's why they've put the two in there. For the for the rest of the world who doesn't speak English. I was like, oh, that's a good point.
It must be that, because it's
otherwise
it does not need to be there.
It's unnecessary entirely. But that makes sense.
But then again, why not just take the two off for
us,
for the UK and North America, and call it whatever you're going to call it in the non-English speaking world? Because I think so. Even taking that into account, it's hard to look at the two as anything other than the marketing guys being, ooh, we really want people to know that this is a sequel. So we'll put the two in because that will make people go and see it.
I think that we maybe have to forgive the marketing guys a little bit, because they also did that screening where they covered everybody in blood. And I'm like, I need that in my life.
I want that so bad.
Where was that? Was that somewhere in the States?
I think it was in LA.
Right.
So at the moment, the Final Girls are planning a horror prom for later in the year. And my aim is to have like a bloodbath booth so that we can, like, if you can come to prom and you can get sprayed with blood. I'm
sure the venue will be delighted with that.
I'm going to like get a baby pool or something. I don't know. I haven't worked it out yet. But like, I will, absolutely. But like the I was like, if Ready or Not 2 can do it in a cinema, we can do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have a similar budget as the market.
I'll work it out. It's fine. I'll crowdfund.
So I'll link to that below whenever that gets organised. The Final Girls Bloodbath Prom. Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to the franchise as a whole, and this takes me back to the John Wickification of the universe. In John Wick, with the 4 John Wick movies, we've had the Ballerina spin-off, and we had the Continental TV show spin-off. I think that's about it. So yeah, I would be happy, like you said, the Elijah Wood storyline. I could see that as being a miniseries, almost like an anthology miniseries, like 6 episodes, self-contained stories. He's almost like the narrator, but he's your way into each story because he's the lawyer for Satan for each one of these wee stories. 100%, I would watch that. A direct sequel, Ready or Not 3, Here I Come, You Can't Hide. Oh, there you go. Ready or Not, Here I Come, You Can't. That's pretty long though. Ready or Not, You Can't Hide. Ready or Not 3, You Can't Hide. What would you call the third movie in this franchise? Put that in the comments below. Yeah, what would you call part 3?
Just You Can't Hide.
Yeah, I think it's got to be, doesn't it?
Yeah. What do we want to happen in this fictional part 3 that we're making up right now?
I don't know if I'd like a prequel. Maybe like an actual origin of the whole book and how you sell your soul to Mr. LaBelle. And
so not Faith and Grace?
I feel like you could have it like cut in where it was like them in like foster care intersected with like the history of the book or something like that.
And then her meeting Alex and things. You could go and then sort of tie it up.
So
that
kind of
way.
Scream freeing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know how I feel about Scream.
We do, yes. Interesting. But yeah, I'd be very happy to see any kind of like story in this universe, whether it's a direct sequel, a spin-off TV show, anything like that. I didn't look at the numbers, but I think it's been doing well enough for that to be a possibility. I wonder how much they are spending on the marketing for this, because they're like it's full push ahead. Right, so I'm going to check just to make sure no one had left any comments on Instagram. While I'm doing that, anything we haven't talked about that you guys wanted to talk about? You've got your notes, Emily. Take it away.
So I think one of the things that I really loved about this, and it was definitely more so in the sequel than the original, is that actually I feel like it's got a little bit of it's a very sort of like nostalgic film. It has a bit of an 80s vibe. It reminds me a little bit of like a Tim Burton film, a little bit in terms of tone. And I think as well that like Catherine Newton has a very nostalgic face, and that and it worked so well for Layna Frankenstein. And I think that's the thing that I'm such a sucker for like anything that's like a little bit nostalgic or whatever. And so it's like I feel like that's one of the things especially that made it work. I think there were so many things that made it work, but I really liked that about it, and I hadn't managed to pick that up yet. So.
Nostalgic face.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
She's got like an 80s girl face.
Yeah,
she could have been in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. She's like, she's got like, she's not got an Instagram face.
Yeah.
She's got like she's
Like
got
her
an.
just little
She
cute
looks
round
real.
face. And she
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah.
There's not that many of them these
No,
days, so
that's very
she
true.
looks like a real human being.
That's
so
very true. That's very true.
yeah.
Yeah, Layna?
No, I think that was me. I think I've covered everything. Yeah.
Excellent. There wasn't any comments on Instagram, so I think we could probably wrap things up. Let's take, I know we kind of roughly talked about this, but let's say there's only 2 of them, but let's compare them to each other. Do we think the sequel was on a par, superior, or inferior?
Well, I think the sequel was better. Having watched them both in the last 5 days, I feel like 2 is more of a romp. It's more fun.
Yeah.
You know, the first one is clever and interesting, but it's a much smaller world and it's much darker. And the second one is a lot more fun.
I think I've got them on par at the moment, but upon a rewatch, I think I might agree with you.
Yeah. I think I'm definitely on a par. I think I gave them both a 7 out of 10, which some people said is like, how can you say you like it, but you only give it 7 out of 10? Someone said that on, I think, Instagram or TikTok, and I'm like, 7 out of 10 is a high
Yeah.
score. Like that, that's fine. Like 7 out of 10 is a good score.
You have to hold the 10 out of 10 back
Yes.
Yes.
for the
Oh.
things that are perfection, like
This is,
complete perfection.
don't get me started on this because you'll get me on a rant. This is everyone who's given out 5 stars to like every movie left, right, and centre. And I'm like, that's no. Like, and for me, there's only 2 or 3 like 10 out of 10 / 5-star movies like that from my ranking system. So like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. That's really really high praise. And a 7 out of 10 or a 3.5 out of 3.5 out of 5. Just math. That's still a high score.
Yeah.
That's still a high score. So I think a 7 out of 10 is a recommendation. Like a movie has to be great or amazing to get an 8 or a 9, and to get a 10 out of 10. Like I think like Jurassic Park and I think Endgame are the only 2 movies that I've got on my letterboxd as 10 out of 10. And as much as I enjoy these movies, it's not Jurassic Park. It's not a 10 out of 10, but a 7 out of 10 is a good score. So yeah, I'm always confused with like these like 5-star ratings that everyone gives to like movies that are good, but they're not 10 out of 10.
They're not 5-star,
They're
yeah.
not 5 stars.
I mean, it's not your Uber driver. Everybody
Yeah.
in the Uber
You don't
needs
just need to do it.
5 stars, right?
Oh,
but like,
yeah.
you can be real on Letterboxd.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can be real on Letterboxd.
Heard it here.
That's a good pun to end on. I like that one. Guys, thanks very much once again for joining me for the spoiler special. I'll link to Layna and Emily's Instagrams and TikToks below. This has been a spoiler special podcast for Ready or Not 2. Ooh, 2. Here I come. Everyone's information below. My review will be below as well. And we'll catch you in the next video.